Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to explore a deeply transformative topic, how we can transform our karma through a deep cognitive revolution. Karma is a fundamental concept in many spiritual traditions, particularly in Buddhism, where it refers to the law of cause and effect. It suggests that the actions we take, the words we speak, and even the thoughts we entertain all leave an imprint on the universe, and these imprints come back to us in various forms. But how does karma affect us? And how can we break free from patterns of negative karma that seem to keep repeating in our lives? Are we simply bound by the consequences of our past actions, or can we transform our karma and change the course of our destiny? These are some of the profound questions we will explore in today's video. In this video, we will dive deep into the concept of karma, its influence on our lives, and most importantly, how we can transform it through conscious awareness and a profound shift in our cognition. By understanding the nature of karma and actively working to change our thinking, we can take charge of our lives and create the future we truly desire. Let's explore how a cognitive revolution can help us break free from old patterns and lead us to a life of greater fulfillment, peace, and success. To begin, let's take a closer look at what karma really is. In many ways, karma is like a blueprint that shapes the events and circumstances in our lives. The choices we make, whether conscious or unconscious, send out energy that influences what we experience in the future. If we act with kindness, we create positive karma that brings us good fortune. If we act out of selfishness or harm others, we create negative karma that leads to suffering. However, karma is not simply about punishing us for bad actions or rewarding us for good ones. It is a reflection of our inner state and the energy we put out into the world. When we make choices based on fear, anger, or ignorance, we create karma that brings about negative experiences. Conversely, when we make choices based on love, wisdom, and compassion, we create positive karma that brings us peace and joy. The problem for many people is that they don't realize how their thoughts and actions are shaping their karma. We may think that our actions don't have consequences, or that we are powerless to change the trajectory of our lives. But the truth is that we have the ability to change our karma by changing our thoughts and actions. This is where the concept of a cognitive revolution comes in. A cognitive revolution refers to a fundamental shift in the way we perceive and understand the world, ourselves, and our experiences. It involves changing the mental patterns and belief systems that have been ingrained in us over years, often through societal conditioning or personal experiences. These patterns, which shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, influence the karma we create. In many cases, our habitual ways of thinking are negative or limiting. We may have beliefs like, "I am not good enough," "I will never succeed," or "the world is against me." These beliefs, though often subconscious, create a mindset that attracts negative experiences. They limit our potential and keep us trapped in a cycle of negativity. The first step in transforming our karma is recognizing these limiting beliefs and consciously choosing to replace them with more empowering and positive thoughts. This cognitive revolution is not an easy process. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to challenge the status quo of our minds. But with practice, we can start to see how our thoughts influence our actions, and how our actions influence the world around us. One of the most effective ways to initiate this cognitive revolution is through mindfulness and self-reflection. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. It helps us become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, allowing us to observe them without getting caught up in them. Through mindfulness, we can start to notice the patterns in our thinking that led to negative karma. For example, if we constantly think about how we are not good enough or how we are a failure, we will likely act in ways that reinforce these beliefs. Mindfulness helps us catch these thoughts before they become actions and allows us to choose a different response. Self-reflection is another powerful tool for transforming karma. By regularly taking time to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions, we can begin to see where we have created negative karma in our lives. We can also identify areas where we can make positive changes. Self-reflection helps us become more conscious of our choices, and by making conscious choices, we can begin to create new, positive karma. Let's take a look at a real-life example of how transforming our thinking can transform our karma. There was a man named John who had spent much of his life struggling with self-doubt and negative thinking. He believed that he was never good enough, and that nothing would ever go right for him. As a result, his life seemed to reflect these beliefs. He experienced many failures and setbacks, and he often felt stuck in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. One day, John decided to try a new approach. He started practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. Every day, he took a few moments to observe his thoughts and identify the negative beliefs that were holding him back. She realized that much of his suffering was caused by his own thoughts of inadequacy and fear of failure. With this new awareness, John began to consciously shift his mindset. Instead of focusing on his limitations, he began to focus on his strengths and potential. At first, it was difficult for John to change his thinking, but over time, through consistent practice, he began to notice subtle shifts in his life. He became more confident, more open to new opportunities, and more willing to take risks. As a result, his karma began to change. He attracted more positive experiences and success, and she began to create the life he had always wanted. John's story is a powerful example of how a cognitive revolution can transform not only our thoughts but our entire reality. And now, let's explore the role of compassion and forgiveness in transforming karma. In many spiritual traditions, it is said that one of the most powerful ways to transform negative karma is through acts of compassion and forgiveness. When we hold on to anger, resentment, or grudges, we create negative karma that binds us to the past and keeps us stuck in a cycle of suffering. On the other hand, when we practice compassion and forgiveness, we release the negative energy and free ourselves from the grip of past karma. Compassion involves understanding and empathizing with the suffering of others. When we respond to others with compassion, we create positive karma that benefits both ourselves and those around us. Similarly, forgiveness allows us to let go of the past and free ourselves from the emotional burden of anger and resentment. Forgiving others and even ourselves clears the way for new, positive karma to enter our lives. The Master often emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, saying, "Forgiving others is not about excusing their behavior, but about freeing yourself from the chains of negative karma. When you forgive, you release the past and open yourself to the blessings of the present." In conclusion, transforming our karma is not about being punished for our past mistakes, but about taking responsibility for our present actions and changing the patterns that shape our future. By engaging in a cognitive revolution, by shifting our mindset, practicing mindfulness, reflecting on our actions, and cultivating compassion and forgiveness, we can transform our karma and change our destiny. The key is to recognize that we are not victims of our past, but creators of our future. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this video has helped you understand how to transform your karma and change your destiny through conscious awareness and positive action. If you have any thoughts or experiences to share, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more insights on how you can transform your life and create the future you desire. See you in the next video.